Ah,
Ya. Halo
Halo,
Mas Sanata, Bu
ya.
Lili,
Halo.
Pak Putu, Pak Pak Cahyono. Oke, kita mulai ya.
Ya,
Halo, turun.
Oke, good evening everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very
Waalaikumsalam
warm welcome
warahmatullahi.
to all of you. Yeah, thank you for joining us today in our English Club online session. Ya, at IKP Jakarta Selatan. I hope everyone is safe, healthy, and doing well wherever you are joining from. So my name is Maulana Ibrahim, and I will be your moderator for today's session. So before we begin, let us take a moment to open today's session with a short prayer. First, we would like to express our deep condolences for the passing of the beloved wife of the former chairman of IKP Jakarta Selatan, Pak Jenada Manik. May God grant her the highest place in heaven, and may the family be given strength, patience, and peace during this difficult time. And we also extend our prayers and thoughts to everyone affected by the recent floods in Jabodetabek. Yeah, uh, may those impacted be given protection and speedy recovery. And I hope conditions return to normal very soon.
Amin.
So let us take a brief moment of silence, yeah, to pray according to our own belief. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for those who may be joining our English Club for the first time, the English Club at IKP Jakarta Selatan is a learning and sharing platform, yeah, initiated by Ibu Debi. Uh, in this club, the club is designed to improve our English skills, yeah, of course professionally and also casually, and then we would like to build confidence, yeah, in our speaking, and then when we discuss with each other in English, and then this platform is also designed to exchange ideas on not only taxation, yeah, but also business and current issues, maybe with gossips, yeah, and of course, it will be in English, yeah, but in a very friendly and supportive environment. So please don't worry about making mistakes, yeah. This is a safe space to learn and practice English together. Okay, so for today's session, we are focusing on a topic that is very relevant to our daily practice, which is income tax aspects of e-commerce. Yeah, e-commerce continues to grow rapidly in Indonesia, and as tax professionals, we are expected to understand not only the regulations but also the business itself, the business models and challenges, and also the practical implications behind them. So the objective of today's sessions are first to gain practical insights on income tax issues in the e-commerce sector, and then to understand current trends and challenges from an industry perspective, and it also to encourage an open discussion, yeah, through Q&A and study session. So the agenda for today will be as follows. First, we'll listening to our national anthem, and then IKPI March, and then there will be an opening remarks by Ibu Lili, or maybe Bapak Putu, yeah, and then there will be a presentation from our speaker, yeah, Pak Daniel, and then there will be a Q&A and sharing session, and then closing. So before we move forward, let us first show you our respect and unity by listening to our national anthem, followed by the IKPI March. So may I kindly ask all participants to stand if possible, yeah, and to maintain a respectful atmosphere during the anthem and march. Ibu Devi, could you please play the national anthem?
Oke.
Indonesia tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu ibuku. Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita berseru, Indonesia Indonesia abadi. Selamatlah rakyatnya, selamatlah putranya, pulaunya, lautnya, semuanya. Majulah negerinya, majulah panggilannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang kucinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang kucinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Ikatan Konsultan Pajak Indonesia, wadah kita bersama, berkarya bekerja dengan profesional untuk nusa bangsa, menjunjung tinggi etika profesi, integritas diri. Dengan tekad kita bisa mandiri dan berdedikasi. IKP kita mampu selalu di hati, IKP tidak sehati, IKP asosiasi panas dunia, siap membangun bangsa. Dengan berasaskan nilai Pancasila, falsafah negara, bersatu padu bekerja sama, menantikan karya baktinya demi pembangunan yang merata di seluruh Indonesia. IKP kita mampu selalu di hati, IKP tidak sehati, IKP asosiasi panas dunia, siap membangun bangsa. Dengan berasaskan nilai Pancasila, falsafah negara, bersatu padu bekerja sama, menantikan karya baktinya demi pembangunan yang merata di seluruh Indonesia. IKP jaya selamanya.
Okay, thank you, Bu Debbie, for playing the national anthem and the KPI March. Okay, so next we'll have opening remarks ya from Bapak Putu Bagus Adi Wibawa, ya, the VP of Institutional Relations ya at IKP Jakarta Selatan. For Pak Putu,
Hello,
okay,
good evening.
good evening, Pak Putu.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, so please, Pak Putu, the floor is yours. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much today. Yeah, this is not out of my expectation, to be. Good evening, Ibu Lili, Ibu Debbie, Pak Maulana, Pak Sahata as well, and everyone. We are glad today we have English club, So I hope everyone can be motivated to can discussion in English way, and then also sharing knowledge, not just only knowledge, but also our encourage everyone to be speak English with our club in Jakarta Selatan. So we are glad to meet in here today, and also with uh, whoever will be the material will be going to. I hope everyone have the good experience with us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Bagus, for the opening remarks. Ibu Lily, do you want to add something, maybe?
No, I think that's all already.
Okay.
That's very
Okay.
good already from Pak Putu.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Bu Lily. Okay, so now we will move to the main session of today. So it's my great pleasure, yeah, to introduce our speaker. So our speaker today is Pak Daniel William Legawa. He is the head of tax and state revenue, yeah, at the Indonesian E-commerce Association, yeah, or IDEA, or Indonesia we call it Asosiasi E-commerce Indonesia, yeah. Pak Daniel graduated from Kwi Kian Gi School of Business, yeah, and later earned his master degree in tax policy administration, yeah, from the University of Indonesia. And he began his career in tax at KPMG, then spent several years in the corporate sector, yeah, at Acer, before moving into the digital tax ecosystem at Online Pajak, yeah, where he served as a community and PGPR manager. So Pak Daniel, he is a founder of the Pajak Mania community, yeah, which was established in 2010. Yeah, I've known him since that time, so it's great to finally have him here. He will share his insight with us today. So with his role at IDEA, he works closely, yeah, with various e-commerce companies, regulators, and also the stakeholders, yeah, which give him a unique perspective, yeah, on the income tax matters within the digital economy. So we are very honored to have you with us today, Pak Daniel. Thank you for taking the time, yeah, to share your insight with the KPI Jakarta Selatan English Club. Yeah. And then before I hand over the session to Pak Daniel, just a few rules for the participants. First, please keep your microphones muted during the presentation. And then you may type your questions in the chat box at any time. Yeah. And we will also have a dedicated Q&A and sharing session after the presentation. So feel free, yeah, later on to share your insights or maybe experience, yeah, or you just want to ask something to Pak Daniel. And yeah, so all right, Pak Daniel, the floor is yours. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Maulana, and good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Bu Debbie, Bu Lily, Pak Putu, and our moderator, Pak Maulana. Thank you very much for the warm greetings, and I can also see Pak Irza and also Pak Sahata. Good evening, Pak. And yes, I'm gladly to introduce myself, yeah, once again that I am now becoming the head of tax and country revenue in Indonesia E-commerce Association, ya, or IDEA, ya. So in my current role as the head of tax department, I am glad to introduce the e-commerce taxation. Yeah, so let me share my screen first. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. Yeah. I'm also already, I already gave the slide presentation to Bu Debbie. So after this, maybe Bu Debbie can distribute this presentation slide to all the participants. Okay. So as an introduction, in the beginning of 2025, the Indonesia E-commerce Association, yeah, we as the members and also the department, yeah, being invited by the DJP, the Tax Regulation Department, ya, the PP1 ya in bahasa, or PP2 ya, Peraturan Perpajakan, or the Tax Regulation Department. Maybe in April or in March, and they introduced that they already have the concept for the e-commerce income tax, ya. Because this e-commerce income tax firstly introduced in 2018, but in that time, I think the Minister of Finance is not ready yet, and Madam Sri Mulyani as the current Minister of Finance revoke the regulation. The Minister of Finance regulation or MOF regulation 210 ya, 210 210 year 2018 ya. But in the 2025 ya, it rose again ya as a new beginning ya for the e-commerce income tax ya. Why is income tax? Because it is only about the income tax. It's not about the value added tax. Yeah. So because it is the income tax, yeah, we will just talk about the income tax. The tax regulation itself is only aimed for the income tax aspect. Yeah. They are not aiming for the value added tax. Yeah. That's why tonight we will learn about the e-commerce income tax. Actually, this presentation slide I also had brought to the IKPI education last year in the IKPI head office in Pejaten, I think in the South Jakarta, and I brought it online in Bahasa Indonesia. So this presentation is basically in Indonesia, but tonight I brought it in English, so you can learn in English. Okay, so let's start the e-commerce income tax, the fundamental and practice. Today I will use this template or presentation slide using the Pajak Mania community, because I'm the founder. If you want to visit, you can visit our website in pajakmania.com. Okay, so disclaimer first the regulations the Ministry of Finance regulation, the PMK, and also the DGT regulation, the PER, have been issued. The next step is to appoint or to designate the platform. What is the platform? I just can say it: Shopee, Tokopedia, Blibli, Lazada. This is the 4 biggest platform, the e-commerce platform. To designate platform using the Directorate General of Taxes decision or decree. But until now, there is still no platform has been appointed to become the collector of the e-commerce income tax. We will talk about it later. And the material here also presented contains personal analysis and also the estimation. And also the third disclaimer, the purpose of this presentation is to prepare the tax consultants with the online seller or online merchant clients to be more alert and prepared. Then thank you for all sources of this material. So let me begin. Before that, let me introduce myself. This is me last year in the national TV or TVRI. I was invited in Arah Angin show in TVRI to talk about the e-commerce income tax. And so this is also me last year. So the discussion of this e-commerce regulation already until the Mr. Bimo. So this is the last September when we met Mr. Bimo. If you can see, this is me, and this is the e-commerce association head Pak Hilmi, and this is the Secretary General Pak Budi Primawan. If you can see in the right, she is Mrs. Rosmauli, our P2 Humas director. This is Pak Handriono, the IT director of DJP, and also this is Pak Hastu Yoga Saksama, the tax regulation director. So we as the association have discussed deeply with Pak Bimo about this regulation. And this regulation also already being concerned by our current minister, ya, Pak Purbaya. So as you already know that Pak Purbaya also already said that this regulation won't be effective, ya, if the economic growth is not 8% per year, I guess, ya. So yeah, so let's say even this regulation is already there, it's not still effective, yeah. So I would like to make this tonight session as a refreshment or as a reminder that this regulation is still here. It's not revoked. It's not revoked yet. It is still here, yeah. Okay, so this is my presentation, yeah. quite a many. But I will be quick because my time is only 60 minutes, I think. So the first one is the legal basis and regulations. The second is about the concept of Article 22, yeah. The Article 22 income tax. The number 3, the grand design of the e-commerce income tax. Number 4 is the conditions for the non-collection of tax. Number 5 is the tax rate and the collection documents, yeah. In bahasa dokumen pemungutan, so collection documents. Number 6, the timeline and the status of regulations. Number 7, the what needs and does not need to be done by the online sellers. Number 8, the utilization of Article 22 income tax collected by platforms, yeah. Utilization, who will utilize is the online seller, yeah. Number 9, the tax planning, yeah, for the online sellers, yeah. Number 10, the future anticipation, and number 11 is the case studies, the conclusions, and also the suggestions. Okay, so the first one is the legal basis and the regulations. We have the KUP law, yeah, the income tax law, the government regulation number 55 year 2022, the Ministry of Finance regulation number 210 ya 210 year 2018 as being revoked by the MOF regulation number 31 year 2019, and now the current regulation is the MOF regulation number 37 year 2025 and also the DGT regulation number 15 year 2025. Okay. So this is the KUP law, ya, the general provision of taxation, ya. So in this Article 32A is clearly said that Ministry of Finance can appoint, ya, the other parties to do the withholding or the collection of the payment or the reporting of taxation, ya, as the tax law already regulated, ya.
43.
The other party, ya, pihak lain, other party is a party that, ya, in my yellow highlighted, ya, that facilitate the transaction interparty, ya. So this is really the definition of e-commerce, ya. The other party to facilitate the transaction. Yeah, so this is really the marketplace platform, yeah, as you can see here, yeah, the marketplace platform, yeah, this is already being the example in our KUP law, yeah, and also this is also the electronic system, yeah. So the e-commerce platform itself is already being regulated in the KUP law, yeah. So this is already being regulated already since 2021, ya, I guess, ya. The keyword is, ya, the other party and facilitate, ya. So in the law, ya, it's already being regulated. This is the foundation of the e-commerce income tax, ya. The Ministry of Finance can appoint other party to withhold the tax, ya. That's the key, ya. And then number 2, the income tax law, maybe some of you ask, why the Article 22 income tax why not Article 4.2 or maybe Article 23? Yeah, it is because the Article 22 said the Ministry of Finance may appoint certain entities or other parties to collect taxes from taxpayers engaged in import activities. Yeah, we can ignore this, yeah, the import activities or business activities in other sectors. Yeah, so the e-commerce can be the business activities in other sectors. Yeah, because this is the special business activities. Yeah, so the KUP law already have the foundation. Now the income tax law in the Article 22, yes, already have the foundation. And now, after the law, now it will be regulated continually by the Ministry of Finance regulation. Yeah, that's why the regulations begin in the Ministry of Finance regulation number 37. Yeah, it's because the law itself said that this new taxation will be regulated by the Ministry of Finance. Yeah, the keyword is the business activities in other sector. Okay. And also this is now the government regulation or the PP 55 year 2022. Yeah. As you all already know that in this regulation, yeah, this is regulated about the final income tax 0.5%. Yeah. I think we as the tax consultant or the tax practitioner already know about the final income tax, yeah. 0.5% times the gross amount or gross turnover, ya. Peredaran bruto gross turnover. Ya. So this is basically the e-commerce tax is mirroring to this government regulation 55 year 2022. Yeah, and also this is the continue of the government regulation number 2022. It said that you can use the 0.5% as long your gross turnover not exceeded 4.8 billion rupiah per year. Yeah, that's the key. Okay, and this is the regulation, yeah, for the individual. Yeah, as you already know, the time is 7 years. For the corporate, yeah, for the PT, yeah, 3 years. For the CV, for the firm, and also other institution is 4 years. Yeah, this is just for mirroring. But, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that the e-commerce income tax do not have the time limit. Yeah, it will prevail. Do not have any expiration year. Yeah, will prevail. Yeah, if already being appointed the e-commerce, it will continue to prevail. There is no time limit. Yeah. Okay, so this is the MOF regulation 210 2018 that has been revoked by the MOF regulation 31, yeah, 31 2019. Yeah. Back in 2018, yeah, it is very viral, yeah. Very viral. Why? Because the marketplace platform, yeah, must submit the online seller data to the DJP. Yeah. Their recapitulation of the trade transactions. Yeah. So in the past regulation, the DJP would like to have the information of the online seller. Yeah. And back in 2018, many said that the technology is not ready. And also this regulation, yeah, causing misperception, yeah, in the community. Many assume that there is a new tax for e-commerce, yeah, but actually there is not. In the past regulation, DJP only want to know the information, yeah, for the e-commerce, yeah. But because the noise and resistance, yeah, this new regulation cause noise, and even opposed by the e-commerce business sectors. It's very disturbing, and that's why it's already being revoked ya by Ibu Sri Mulyani. In the past regulation, the seller also have to have the tax ID number and also the NIK. It's quite viral, and then it's being revoked. But now, in year 2025, we have the new Ministry of Finance regulation number 37 year 2025. This regulation said appointment or designation of the other party as the withholding income tax collector. This is not said about the e-commerce anymore. In Ministry of Finance 210 is not e-commerce. But in this Ministry of Finance regulation, it's not e-commerce anymore. It said the trade using the electronic system. So it's not just about the e-commerce, but it can be any application that facilitate the transactions, can be the withholding tax, the income tax, e-commerce income tax collector. So it's not just about the e-commerce. And then there's also the digital regulation, the PER 15, PJ 2025. This is the regulation that regulate the limitation, the criteria of the other parties who become the e-commerce withholding tax collector. We will see the criteria after this. So we have the MOF regulation. We have also the DGT regulation. What's next? What's next is there will be a DGT, the Directorate General of Taxes decision or decree appointed the PT Shopee, PT Tokopedia, PT Blibli, PT Lazada as the other party to collect, to pay, to report the income tax of the trader using the electronic system. This decree or this decision, currently still not exist yet. As I said here, currently no platform has received this Directorate General's decree or the Capdirjen. So, however, but it's still important to be aware and to be ready. Okay. In the regulation, it said that if the marketplace is established, in 2025, which is now already over, now already 2026, it will begin the collection 1 month after. So, for example, if it is the decree on August 23rd of 2025, it will begin the collection on September 22. But 2025 now already finished. Now we are after 2025. Now we are on 2026. So if the marketplace is established after 2025, the collection will be begin in the beginning of the following month. So for example, if the decree is on January 15, the collection will begin in February 1, 2026. What it's conclude? So before 2026, 2025, it is given 1 month, 1 full month after the decree. But in 2026, after 2025, it only give very very short period. Okay, let's continue. So this is the timeline of the previous regulation. PMK or MOF 210 already revoked. MOF 48 is already being revoked as well. This is the VAT collection. Actually for the utilization of intangible taxable goods. Actually it's not revoked, but it's now updated with the Ministry of Finance 81. Ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, today, just now, we already had the MOF regulation number 1 year 2026 ya, about the merger and acquisition ya. Oh my God, ya, we as the tax consultant and also the tax practitioner have to fully aware ya about the update ya. Yeah, so that's why ya we have to become aware ya. And now the current regulation is the MOF regulation 37 year 2025. So this is the regulation that we will talk about tonight. This is the concept of collecting the Article 22 income tax. So what does this rule actually say, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. So actually, this is the picture, that the Directorate of Tax Regulation showed us back in April or March last year, So they said to us, us is Indonesian E-commerce Association. They said to us that they will be focused on the income tax. Why? Because for the VAT, they already have the VAT for PMSA, So now for the e-commerce income tax, they will focus on the income tax for the PPH, So as you can see, this is the total income tax. This is not the total income tax, but this is the gross turnover. So if the gross turnover of the entrepreneur 0.0 until 500 million, it's not subject to income tax. But this is only for individual. For the company, for the corporate taxpayer, this is not will be happen. And after that, from 500 million until the 4.8 billion, they will be collected and deposited 0.5%. The gross turnover will be tax collected, tax withheld 0.5%. If more than 4.8 billion, same. It will be collected by the platform 0.5%. Same. So this is the summary. So for the individual taxpayer, if the certain gross circulation, the gross turnover up to 500 million, there is income tax not collected. If between 500 and until 4.8 billion, it will become the 0.5% rate. And the income tax collected, if the individual taxpayer is using the final, it will become the final income tax payment. But if not final, they can become the tax credit, in the annual income tax return. So if the above 4.8 billion, it will become not final. Same like corporate taxpayer, but the corporate taxpayer, there is no below up to 500 million. So as you can see, Bapak Ibu, this income tax, this 0.5% income tax, it is hybrid, because it can become two nature. The first nature is final, the second nature is not final. As long as island tax, this is the first one. This is the hybrid tax. It's not just a car that can be hybrid, but tax also can be hybrid. So if final, it will be replace the 0.5% income tax. But if it's not final, it can be the Article 22 income tax credit. Like the import of the goods from the onshore, it can be the tax credit. So this is the hybrid, hybrid income tax, because the using will be various, depends on the taxpayer themselves. This is very unique. Okay, let me continue. So who can be appointed? e-commerce, who the platform who can be appointed to collect the income tax. Yeah, it can be within Indonesia or outside Indonesia. Yeah. So within the territory of Indonesia, Shopee, Tokopedia, Lazada, Blibli, and etc. Outside the territory of Indonesia, for example, Alibaba, eBay, maybe Google, yeah, like that, it can be appointed as well. But now, I repeat again, right now there is still no platform who is appointed by this DGT decision, yeah. So do not worry. Yeah, this is the regulation for the PER 15. Yeah. Who can be appointed to collect? Is it only the e-commerce platform, the Shopee, Tokopedia, Blibli, Lazada, and similar? In fact, the rule does not say that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. The rule says this. The criteria of other party are those that, yeah, use an escrow account. Yeah. Actually, there are so many platforms who use the escrow accounts, not just the e-commerce platform, yeah, many, yeah, escrow account and have a transaction value exceeding a certain 12 months, yeah, exceeding a certain amount, yeah, transaction value and also the access, yeah, transaction value is 50 million rupiah a month or 600 million a year, yeah, it's quite low, yeah. So basically, so many platforms who can be appointed as the e-commerce tax collector, yeah. And also traffic amount is 12,000 per year or 1,000 a month, yeah. Traffic is how many hit, yeah, how many visitor to the platform, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it could be not just for e-commerce. E-commerce is just for the beginning, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the it's not just the online seller who will be withheld by this tax. Yeah. So it can be the online seller, yeah, the domestic merchant, but can be also the delivery or expedition service companies, yeah, the insurance companies, and also the other parties the conducting transactions with the buyer of goods. For example, the dropshipper, yeah. Yeah, so if you know there are so many dropshipper now, yeah, who become the live streaming, yeah, to take the opportunity to sell the goods, yeah, in the platform, yeah, they also can be collected, yeah. And also the online merchants must submit the information at the minimum, yeah, consisting of, yeah, the tax ID number or the national ID number, yeah, the NIK. Why? Because the NIK now for the individual can become the tax ID number. And also they have to submit the correspondence address, yeah. And also if there is a statement letter, yeah, or the certificate of exemption, they can also submit it, yeah. Okay. So this is interesting, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, because the concept of the Article 22 income tax collection for the e-commerce, they said collect. But actually, it's not collect. It's deduct. Yeah. If you know the Article 22 for the import, yeah, actually the Article 22 will increase, yeah, increasing the price, yeah, of the goods. But the e-commerce income tax actually it will deduct, yeah, because the income tax collected on merchant income does not increase the price, yeah. However, it's not explained how much the take-home pay the seller can take home, but actually it will deduct the price, not increase the price. Yeah, so this is quite interesting, yeah. the house nature it's like the 0.5%. It's not the price, but got the price. Yeah. If this exercise skip, this is the you can look at you can skip as well. Okay, we are entering design of the PPH commerce or e-commerce income tax. Yeah, is this really just about the 0.5% income tax? Actually, it's not. Yeah, sorry, this is still bahasa. I will revise it. It's actually about feeding data to DJP. Yeah, you can see the news. Yeah, that data that will be given from marketplace to DJP, it will be used for the supervision. Yeah, what it means? The first is no more unreported turnover. Yeah, because it's already being discovered now. No more underreporting turnover. What do you mean, Pak? Because there are so many online seller, yeah, who already have a bigger amount of turnover. They just report it very, very, very low, yeah. For example, there is a online seller that have 10 billion rupiah sales per year, but in the online seller only report 1 billion. Yeah. Oh, where is the billion? They don't report it. This e-commerce income tax already be cannot report it anymore. DJP no. So over ya nomor over billion that can be exempt from being the taxable entrepreneur. Yeah. So now there are so many online sellers who the turnover already more than 4.8 billion, but they do not want to become the taxable entrepreneur, to become the PKP. Yeah. And no need lah to become PKP. The VAT will increase the price. Yeah. But if this already being effective, they cannot run for this anymore. Yeah. So the grand design of the e-commerce income tax is not the 0.5% income tax itself. It's actually the same like the previous MOF regulation 210, yeah, to collect the data. Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah. And also this is the DJP itself who said this, that the online trading is considered a shadow economy. Yeah. Because many online sellers fail to comply or do not want to comply with their tax obligations, yeah. Either due to a lack of understanding or maybe they just do not want, yeah. Therefore, involving the platform marketplace as the tax collectors is expected to increase and also to encourage the taxpayer compliance by paying taxes according to their real and actual business capacity, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So this is to force the compliance. Yeah. So what I can say that the 0.5% it's only the bait. Yeah. It's only umpan. It's only the bait to the online seller to become comply. Oh, the tax is very very low, but it's not the main goal of this regulation. The main goal of this regulation is to close the shadow economy, no more underreporting, and no more unreported turnover. Yeah, and also, so if this is already effective, yeah, I think there are so many online sellers that will get the SP2DK, yeah, or that will get to become the PKP, yeah, to become the taxable entrepreneur, yeah. And if we have the clients, online sellers, we have to say this to our client. Actually, if your client is underreporting or unreport the gross turnover, So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the grand design of the e-commerce income tax is not just about a 0.5% income tax rate. As I said, it's like a bait. It is more than that. It is the transparency of online transaction data to the Directorate General of Taxes. It's the transparency, ladies and gentlemen, which will lead to the effective law enforcement. Because after that, the DGT will have the concrete data. If they have the concrete data, the compliance will be enforced. This is very interesting. This is the conditions for the non-collected tax, ladies and gentlemen. So there are two conditions, ladies and gentlemen, for non-collected tax. The first one is the certain conditions. The second one is the selling of certain goods. The certain conditions is the individual who have the turnover below 500 million rupiah, they have to submit a statement letter. So they can be not collected the income tax, but they have to submit a statement letter. The certain conditions number 2 is delivery or expedition services by the domestic individual taxpayer as partner of technology-based application companies. This is like the ojek online. So if the courier, is not the employees or of the company concerned, it will not become withheld this income tax. The number 3 is the certificate of exemption, from income tax withholding or collection. Number 2 is the selling certain goods. So if you sell the mobile phone credit, or in the bahasa Indonesia is pulsa, and if you sell the starter packs, if in bahasa Indonesia is kartu perdana, you won't be collected this e-commerce income tax. If you sell the gold jewelry, the gold bars, the jewelry made entirely of non-gold, if you sell gemstones and other similar stones, it's only not collected by this income tax. If you sell or transfer land and building rights, or sell and purchase agreements for land and buildings, you will not also become collected by this tax. But, actually for these certain goods, this is also become the subject of the original tax. So for the credit, for the starter packs, for the gold, and also for the transfer of the land and building, there already a previous tax. So it's not collected by tax because it's already become the tax of previous tax. Now I will talk about the statement letter. So this statement letter is for the turnover less than 500 million rupiah. So regarding the statement letter, it have to have the stamp, the stamp duty. In bahasa Indonesia is meterai. And the number 2 is there is a clause stating the willing to accept legal consequences. Why this is important? Because if the online seller is proven wrong, the sanctions will certainly be imposed, and there's no way to avoid them, because you said you are already willing to accept legal consequences. If untrue, sanctions will be imposed according to tax regulations, not criminal, civil, or other laws. As you can see here, penerapan sanksi sesuai ketentuan perundang-undangan pajak. So not about the criminal, civil, and other laws. The climax of this statement letter is this declaration letter is not submitted only if your amount is less than 500 million. If your amount of sales already more than 500 million, it also must be submitted, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. Because as you can see here, yeah, as you can see, there is a blank, yeah, number 7. You can see less than 500 or more than 500, yeah. How to submit it, yeah? Actually, this will be determined by each marketplace, yeah. I already discussed with all marketplace, yeah, all marketplace platform, but still no guidelines, yeah, regarding its submission, yeah, because the regulation itself is not still effective, yeah. So still there is no guidelines, yeah. Okay, so this is also the FAQ, yeah. So how do you determine the 500 million, yeah? Is it from one store or from all stores, yeah? How you determine 500 million so you won't be affected by this income tax, yeah? Is it from one store or from all stores, yeah? So based on the FAQ, yeah, by the DJP, it said all the gross turnover from all the locations, yeah. So the gross turnover will be calculated in every locations and in every marketplace. So if you, yeah, one person have the shop, yeah, have the online shop, maybe in Tokopedia, in Shopee, in Lazada, yeah, it won't be separated, but it will be calculated as one, yeah. If already more than 500 as the total of all the marketplaces, you will still be subjected to this income tax. And number 2, you send the statement letter to one or all marketplace. Actually, you have to send the 4 copy of documents if you have all the marketplace, yeah, you have the shop in all marketplace. But technically, you just need to prepare one letter, and the copy of it, you can scan it, and then you can send to all the marketplace who concern. Yeah. So do not worry, yeah. The compliance cost will stay low, yeah, for this. This is the special treatment for online seller, yeah. So if you do not submit the NIK or the tax ID number, it will still be collected. But if you want to use it, you have to attach your NIK, yeah, if you want to use it, yeah. Okay, so now this is the tax rate and also the collection documents. Yeah, what will be the proof of this 0.5% tax? The tax rate is 0.5%, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, of the gross turnover. Yeah, receive or obtained by the domestic merchant, the online seller, yeah, as stated in the invoice document, excluding the VAT and the LST. Ya, VAT is PPN, LST is PPNBM, ya, luxury sales tax. Ya. Nah, ladies and gentlemen, when is the time of the collection of tax? Ya, saat pemungutan pajak. This is the thing that now being discussed. Ya, why? Because this income tax will be payable when the payment is received by the marketplace platform, by the other party. So this is now who being discussed, who being talked with the DJP. Why? Because if the tax is payable when payment is received by other party, yeah, the online seller still do not receive the money, yeah. Therefore, yeah, this is not quite fair, yeah, because actually, if payment is received by other party, yeah, for example, yeah, you buy maybe you buy this phone, yeah, you buy this phone from the e-commerce income tax. Let's say you order Apple phone, ya, iPhone 17, ya, iPhone 17. You pay iPhone 17 to the e-commerce income tax. The e-commerce income tax withhold 0.5%. But actually, the domestic sellers do not send the Apple iPhone 17, ya. He send this phone, ya. This one is not iPhone, ya. This is Android. send the iPhone. What will you do as a buyer if you receive the wrong goods? Ya, you will return. You will return. Ya, this is wrong lah. You will return lah. You will return the wrong phone to the platform. And then what happened? Yeah, we have, yeah, you can, so basically if the Article 22 is payable when the payment received by other party, it's not effective. Yeah, we as the platforms now have an idea that the time of tax payable is not when the payment is received by the other party. The idea should the payment, the Article 22 is payable when the settlement. Yeah, I said again, the settlement. What is the settlement? Settlement is when every month we as the platform send the money, deliver the money to the online seller. Yeah, not every month. Yeah, it can be every day also, but the settlement is when the money is ready to send to the online sellers. Yeah, so based on our idea, yeah, this this MOF regulation 37, yeah, it should be revised. Yeah, but let's see. Yeah, because it's still ongoing the discussion until now. Yeah. Okay, now I want to continue. Yeah, the gross turnover here means before the deducting sales returns, cash discounts or similar discounts. Yeah, before discount. So is it fair, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. So for example, you visit you visit online shop in the e-commerce platform. You see that the price is 1 million rupiah. Yeah, 1 million rupiah. When you click, there is a discount, there is a coupon, yeah, there is a promo from the live streaming, and suddenly from 1 million, it's now become 900 rupiah. 900,000 rupiah. Discount 100,000. Wow, you are happy. But actually, yeah, the the income tax will be taxed on the 1 million, not in 100,000. Is it fair? Yeah, of course it's not fair. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, because the tax is imposed on the gross turnover. Yeah, but yeah, this is already solved. Yeah, this is already solved. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because in our discussion, the DJP said that okay, no problem. The solution is this. You can just put the price after discount or the net price as the final price, and so you do not worry, it will be tax higher than it should be. Yeah, so already finished. Yeah, but what is not finished is about the time of the tax payable. Yeah, we have the proposal. It's not from the payment is received by the e-commerce platform, but when the settlement is done. Yeah, so this is also the collection document, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So we as the e-commerce platform have to create a collection document, yeah, at least contain invoice document number and date, name of other party, account name of the domestic merchant, identity of buyer or goods, type of goods, total selling price and discount, and the amount of Article 22 income tax for each domestic merchant. Yeah, this is also quite difficult. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, DJP assume that every e-commerce platform create an invoice. Yeah, create an invoice in every sales. But actually no. Yeah, the e-commerce platform do not prepare the invoice. the e-commerce platform just issue a resi, the delivery, So when you receive, so imagine you receive a goods, in a box, and there is also a resi in the box. You can see, oh, this is the goods, this is the seller, this is the platform, and in the resi you can see the price. You will be shocked, and you will also see the text. What? There's a text here. What is the text for? Yeah. Actually, the text is not for the buyer, ladies and gentlemen, It's for the seller, So this collection documents is already now being discussed. It's not practical, Because if you want to create a new collection document, it takes cost. But if you want to put the information on the collection document on the resi, it will be not effective, ladies and gentlemen, Yes, there's also invoice correction and also the cancellation documents, but we think it's still also not effective, for this e-commerce income tax, Okay, so when will the PPS 22, the income tax article 22, will be paid and reported by the marketplace? It's actually the same like the unification income tax. The 15 for the payment, the 15 of the following month, and also the 20 of the following month, for the reporting, It will be reported using the unification income tax return, by the marketplace, But it's not effective, If there's a cancellation correction after the 15, it will decrease the transaction value. It indicates the additional effort of the marketplace to implement the PPSTT or the refund or should the pengembalian pajak yang the untaxable uh, terutang untaxable tax gitu. The PPSTT, Okay, so this is not effective, So we as a association said that the most appropriate is not by when the money received by the platform, but when the settlement is done. That is our proposal now, to the Directorate of Tax Regulation. Timeline and policy status, ladies and gentlemen. The current status, the communication and audience sessions still continue, between the marketplace platform and also the DGT, led by the Tax Regulations Directorate, So every month, we frequently meet, with the Tax Regulation Directorate. Also in the meeting, there's also the P2 Humas. There's also a core tax team. There's also a business process transformation team. So the meeting quite frequent, and there are so many directorates, And also several intensive meetings have been held between the platforms. Now the discussion is on when the taxable timing, And also the communications now is focused on the readiness and also the technical issues, regarding the implementation, because this implementation is not easy, We requested 1 year, but the DGT said it too long. But now, because of the new minister, Pak Purbaya, I think we can get the 1 year, 1 year since when? Since September 2025. I think not 1 year, but now 8 months, I think, So maybe it will be expected on April, we ready, But we still need the Pak Purbaya to give the blessing for this regulation to be happen. Now, we are still waiting for the e-commerce platform will be appointed, and then the income tax become collected, and then in the future all the e-commerce transaction data will go to the Director General of Taxes. So are you honest and already ready for the data transparency, ladies and gentlemen? This is very interesting, Okay, so this is what do online sellers need and do not need to do, So if you have the turnover below 500 million, you can prepare the statement letter, And also if you can also prepare the certificate exemption if you do not want to become the subject Article 22 marketplace and identify. So you have to identify what items are sold in the marketplace. Are there any items exempt from the Article 22 marketplace income tax? What not to do? Yeah, so this is also important. So if you already collected 0.5% by the e-commerce platform, please do not pay 0.5% final income tax anymore. Yeah, because actually this is a same tax that has already been deducted to you. Yeah. What not to do is if prepare statement letter, yeah, if you do not meet the requirements. Yeah. And what not to do, yeah, this is also important is one, not reporting your gross turnover. You do the underreporting. You do not become the taxable entrepreneur when it required. Yeah. So you cannot now escape from the taxation if this regulation is already effective. Yeah. Yeah, this is the use of the PPS 22 collected by the platform. Yeah. The first one is can be calculated for the tax credit. Yeah. Or can be the final income tax payment. Yeah. So the tax credit will reduce the annual income tax payable. For the final income tax payment, yeah, there is no need to pay 0.5% final income tax anymore. Yeah. Maybe I will skip this. I will just skip this. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, if final meets final, yeah. So yeah, if you sell the final income tax or tax on land and building rental, yeah, this is not the sales, but maybe you just rental the land and building. The tax is 10%, right? But if you already if you already deducted 0.5% e-commerce tax, yeah, so you will need to pay the shortfall. Yeah, you already collected 0.5%, but you still need to pay 10% minus the 0.5%. You need to pay the 9.5%. Yeah. But if the final means final, yeah, for example, this is the 0.44%, but you deduct URB collected 0.5%, you can get the PPSTT, yeah, the application for refund of taxes that should be due, yeah. But this is not really practical, yeah, so we can skip this. Yeah, the terms condition, yeah, who is non-final is in principle there is no double taxation, yeah. So the Article 22 income tax can be calculated as the tax credit, yeah, tax credit. And so, for example, for courier expedition companies that typically deduct the 2% of the Article 23 income tax, the courier company do not need to pay the difference, yeah, because the courier company can simply carry the 0.5% income tax, yeah. Okay. I've been studying taxes for all my life, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the first time I've encountered the type of tax like this. Yeah, this is the first hybrid tax I learned in Indonesia in whole my life. Yeah, this is the hybrid. Yeah. Okay, the tax planning, I think we can skip, yeah, because of the time now already 1 hour. So I will be just focus on this. Sorry, yeah, I will just focus on this section. Yeah, so far what do we know? Maybe we can skip. Nah, what is currently not clearly known, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So the first one is when will the e-commerce platform be appointed? Until now, we still do not know. As the association, we still do not know as well. Yeah. If we follow the Pak Purbaya statement that the appointed time will be after the economic growth 8%, I think it may be still next year or next 2 years, yeah. But politically, we do not ensure as well, yeah. That's that's what Pak Purbaya said. There is still no black on the white. There is no hitam that's putih. There's no regulation that said that. But so if the Pak Purbaya politically resign, yeah, and there is a new Ministry of Finance or a Minister of Finance, the the condition will be changed, yeah. Okay, so also will they be appointed will be together or not? Yeah, maybe yeah, but we want the platform will be appointed together at the same time, yeah. Not just this month Shopee, next month Tokopedia, next month Lazada, yeah, that's not fair, yeah. And also, how can I provide the same documents as a proof of collection? How can I submit a statement letter, yeah, to the marketplace platform? Is there a way to simplify the statement letter? Yeah, I think the marketplace platform is now work with the technology provider, yeah, to prepare this. So what to anticipate? Are you an online trader? Yeah. So if you are an trader, yeah, please assess your identity in e-commerce platform. Yeah. Assess your online transactions. Assess your online shop's tax reporting. Does it use one or multiple tax ID number? Yeah. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just about the collecting the 0.5% income tax, but also about the transparency of your online transaction data to the government. Yeah. Is there any underreported, or you are not considered as the taxable entrepreneur? Yeah. And also now I need to go to the conclusion and suggestions, yeah, before I get back to the moderator. The first one, this is not the DJP said, yeah, this is not a new text. This is the same text. The PPS 22 is already the same text. But I said this is not a new text. Yes, okay, no problem. But it is a new system, yeah, hybrid system, yeah. The 0.5% income tax rate is determined by the 0.5% final income tax for the UMKM or MSME. Yeah. I repeat again, this is not just about the 0.5% income tax rate, but also about the transparency of your online transaction sales to the government. Are you being honest? Many of online sellers is not being honest. Yeah. At the very least, yeah, start recording all sales and purchase transaction in detail because the compliance starts here. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all from me because the number 5 and number 6 is it's just about the statement letter. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. You can access the material on the bit.ly/pph marketplace to access all the source about the e-commerce income tax. Yeah, maybe that's all from me. Yeah, let me stop share and get back to you, Pak Maulana or Ibu Dewi. Sorry, I proceed 5 minutes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Daniel, for your comprehensive presentation. Yeah, from the legal basis until the challenges from the domestic merchant side and also the platform side. So we'll now move to the Q&A and sharing session, yeah, which is one of the most important parts in this English club, yeah. So this is our chance, yeah, to ask questions, maybe share experience, and maybe give another perspective, yeah, to us, and all in English, of course. No judgment. Feel free, guys. And then for participants who wish to ask questions, please raise your hand, yeah, so we can have conversation in English, yeah. Or maybe if you are shy, maybe just type your questions in the chat box. Maybe are you curious about the e-commerce or this MSE tax, yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
Pak Maulana.
maybe you want to
Yes,
ask questions? Okay. Yeah.
yes. Thank you, Ko Daniel. Your material is so comprehensive, and yeah, we know that about the e-commerce tax. Yeah, you said no revoke, but like this postpone, we don't know how long to waiting for that. And as the leader association e-commerce, when the e-commerce tech is released, what the insight from your members marketplace? Because as you said, we need to prepare some the system, like the need to collection the data, and also I just confused why the Purbaya want to release this regulation until stick grow economic, yeah. But e-commerce, I can see everyone right now is sometime buy something using the by e-commerce. So traditional market is maybe decrease, yeah, like the e-commerce. I don't know why the Purbaya need the until grow economic until 9. This is my point asked to you. And the first, the second, what about the action and reaction from the you members about the this release the regulation? Yeah, and yeah, you said that you explained to us the tax income from the gross, but the gross is, yeah, in the e-commerce, like the price, the perang harga, like something like that. And yeah, you said the taxable will be um, when the give the payment from the e-commerce. So what do you think about that? Thank you. I hope you get the point, Ko Daniel.
Yeah. Yeah, Bu Dewi. Thank you for your questions ya. So let me answer by like this ya.
Mm,
So let me tell you the stage of the discussion ya. So the discussions between the DJP and
mm-mm,
also the associations, the e-commerce
mm-mm,
platforms ya. So all the e-commerce platform, the four is the member of our association,
mm-mm,
and all the platforms, yeah, the stage of the discussion is not just only all the associations with DJP, all the associations with DJP, but there is also a one-on-one, yeah,
mm,
one-on-one platforms to DJP. So maybe in 1 week, in Monday, Shopee, in
mm,
Tuesday, Tokopedia, in Thursday, Blibli, in Friday, Lazada, for example, like that. Yeah,
mm,
we just know the update in our association perspective,
mm,
but in one-on-one, yeah, because I'm not working in the e-commerce platform.
mm,
In one-on-one, I do not know. Maybe, yeah, maybe there is maybe a leader of the e-commerce platform who have the channel to Pak Purbaya that said that if this is effective now, yeah, all the all the online sellers
move,
will escape to other
mm,
platform. Yeah. So you are right. You are right that now all the all the transactions now already go from the offline now to online. Yeah, now
mm,
to go to online. But if if it's effective, not in the in the good time, yeah, not in
Mm,
the but in the bad time like this, the e-commerce buyer will escape to the social commerce. Yeah, they
mm.
sell through WhatsApp, they sell
TikTok.
through Facebook. That they are not the e-commerce. Yeah,
Mm,
that's why Pak Purbaya said that okay, uh, the Indonesia citizen have to be happy first. Yeah, have to be in a good economy. So if they are taxed 0.5%, they are not worried. They will not be a demonstration. They will not be a riot like that. Yeah. So
mm,
that's why this regulation can still be compromised until now. Yeah, because the strength of the transaction itself. Yeah. So the Indonesia citizen have to be strong first by economic, yeah. Then the regulations will be implemented, yeah. The second one is about the response from the platform, yeah, Ibu
mhm.
Debbie, yeah.
Yes.
So it's not just about the gross, yeah. There
Mm,
are also so many things, yeah, that being discussed by the platforms, by the associations, and with all the platforms, yeah. For example, the gross amount, yeah, it's one of the point of discussion, yeah. So the response of the platform, ya, Bu Debi, it's like
mm,
why why the DJP, why the DGT prepare the regulations not together with the platform, but
mhm,
the DGT prepare the regulation based on their own estimation, based on their own discovery, based on their own engagement in the platform. In preparing the tax regulation, I think they need, yeah, we think that they need to engage with the
mm,
e-commerce platforms. Yeah, that's why there are until now still so many things that are now being discussed. Yeah, about the course amount, about the taxable time, and so on and so on. Yeah, so that's why, yeah, Bu Dewi, the discussion still happening until now. Thank you, Bu Dewi.
Okay, thank you your explanation, Ko Daniel. Very clear.
Okay, thank you, Pak Daniel, for the explanation and answers. So there is Pak Imran ya, Pak Imran raise hand ya. So please Pak Imran,
Yeah,
your
thank
camera
you,
ya.
Pak Maulana.
Ya,
Yeah, Pak Daniel,
Yeah.
I have a questions on the SHIM regarding the implementation of the withholding tax. Uh, are there any were there any complaints from the marketplace? Because it seems that there are burdens that will be applied, that will be shift to the marketplace. That marketplace should have additional administration things to do. In respect of they will need to withhold the tax and then pay to the government. And also, if there are any uh, incorrect withholding tax that apply to the seller.
Okay.
So your
Yeah.
insight, please. Thank you, Pak.
Okay, thank you. So there are two main complaints. Yeah, the first complaint is about the time. Yeah, in the beginning we asked for 1 year. Yeah, we asked for 1 year of the implementation. Please do not appoint us as the tax agent first. So we asked for 1 year. Why? Because we need to build a new system to prepare the collection document dari dokumen pemungutan, to prepare the platform for the statement letter, ya, to prepare all the the sending of the data to the DJP, we have to send the data to DJP. We need the time to build, yeah. But luckily now the implementation has been delayed, so the time complaints, I think it's not become a problem anymore. The second complaint is about the aspect of the fundamental. We don't want the taxable time to be the time when the money received by the platform, but by the settlement. That is our proposal to DJP, the settlement. Why? Because when the settlement, the money is already ready to be sent to the online sellers. And the third complaints, Pak Imran, is about the socialization from the P2 Humas. So as the association, we want the socialization initiated by the P2 Humas, not by the association. The association will follow. But the now the DJP already sent us the FAQ and we already review it. But now because the implementation become being delayed, so the FAQ itself is not still issued. The FAQ itself is still not issued to all the sellers. But we want the socialization to become initiated by the DJP. So the three the time, the concept, and also the socialization. I think that's all, Pak Imran. Hope it helps. Hope it answers your question.
All right, thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak.
All right, everyone. So we are approaching the end of our Q&A and sharing session. So if you guys have another question, so please for us, So we'll give one more questions.
In chat room,
Oh,
Pak Maulana.
okay. Okay, so it's from Ibu Vera ya. Okay, so I will read. Good evening, Pak Daniel. I would like to ask about VAT and Income Tax Article 22, can be matched if online seller have a VATable entrepreneur, Okay, maybe status. How we can count the VAT, whether from the amount of the settlement, or by a goods sending to customer. Let's say the article income tax 22 will deduct once settlement received by seller. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very good questions, because Bu Vera now can see the unseen, because the settlement is for the our proposal, Okay, so the tax, this e-commerce tax and also the VAT is different, The e-commerce income tax is only for the income tax, not for the VAT. So for the VAT, it's still based on the price, still based on the price, not based on settlement. How we count the VAT? So the VAT will still the taxable price with the dasar penentuan pajak, the tax base will be still on the price, not on the settlement. But we as the platform want to have the settlement, not by the price, So how we can count the VAT? Still same on the tax base will be on the price, not by the settlement, not by settlement. Still by the goods sending to the customer, by the tax base will still be the same, not following the settlement, But actually, Bu Vera, based on my experience, based on my experience, still there are two types of the VAT for the online seller ya. The first one is the normal VAT ya, 11% times the goods ya. The second one use the digunggung or the compiled ya, the compiled tax base ya. Faktur pajak digunggung ya. It's so based on the gross amount, they will gross down to have the tax base and then and after the gross down, the VAT will be paid. Yeah. So this is interesting. Thank you for the questions. So the VAT will be counted still on the price, not on the settlement. The settlement is still our proposal for the e-commerce income tax, not for the VAT. Because this e-commerce income tax, the Article 22 from the MOF 37, it's just for the income tax. But the goal now for the settlement, and now we want to have the change, the revision for the MOF 37. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, maybe this year, maybe next year. Yeah, this will be very, very interesting. Okay, back to you, Pak Maulana and Bu Debi. Thank you.
Oke, thank you, Pak Daniel. Oke, so that's the answer from Pak Daniel ya, Bu Vera. Hopefully it's sufficient ya. Okay, so thank you for the great questions and active participation ya from several participants and to you all. This is exactly the kind of discussion that we hope to see in our English club ya. Hopefully be more active in the next session. So before we end this session, maybe we should have take a photo ya, Bu Debi ya.
Okay. Take the
Oke,
picture.
ya, oke. So please Bu Debi take a picture.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please open the camera. Okay. Pak Imran, Pak Putu, Pak Cahyono. I'll take the picture. Okay. We have to slide. 1, 2, 3. Take 1. Okay. Select second
Okay,
slide.
finish, baby.
Yeah, finish.
Oke,
Thank
thank you, Bu
you.
Debi. Once again, on behalf of IKP Jakarta Selatan, I would like to express our appreciation to Pak Daniel for sharing valuable insights ya on the income tax aspect of e-commerce and the recent trends and the insider information ya. Thank you as well to all participants for your time and active involvement. Yeah, we hope this session has been useful. Yeah, and you guys will gain both technical knowledge and also the confidence in using English. Okay, so that's all. Thank you. Stay safe. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a
Waalaikumsalam
wonderful
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
evening.
Thank you all. Thank you,
Thank you
Ko
very much,
Dani.
Bu
Thank you, Pak
Debi,
Thank you very
Daniel.
Bu Debi, Pak
much.
Maulana, Mas
Ya.
Hatta.
Yeah, thank